Alright guys, today we are going to be reacting to his story.
I had just set a package down on the porch of this mansion when a dog
Damn, bro.
the size of a grown man came off the steps and knocked me flat. I hit the concrete so hard the wind went right out of me and I couldn't even yell. Then his teeth
God. That should've hurt, dude.
sank into my leg and the yell came out all on its own. I'm on the ground kicking at him, trying to get him away when the front door swings open and a woman comes running out in her bathrobe. No, get away from my baby. I thought
Who goes at a baby, bro?
I was saved, but she ran right past me and got down on her knees next to the dog with tears running down her face. Why did you attack my dog, you maniac? I opened my mouth, but nothing came out. She immediately pulled out her phone and dialed 911 while I watched in shock. A crazy Amazon driver just attacked me and hurt my innocent dog. Then she leaned down close and whispered while smiling from ear to ear, "This is going to make me rich." Then the cop car pulled up, so I started to stand up because finally somebody was here to fix this. He got out, looked at the big house, looked at the woman cradling her dog, and decided I was the criminal. I desperately tried to argue my case. "You've got it wrong. I was the one who got attacked." For a second, his eyes dropped to my torn pants, and I thought he finally saw it. But the woman yelled, "This maniac came at my dog first, and my lawyer is already writing up the claim. So you're gonna want to get this right, officer." The cop nodded and reached for his cuffs. "You're under arrest, buddy." My heart started pounding. One false report on my record, and I'd lose the only job I had. I tried to tell him what actually happened, but he talked right over me like I wasn't even there. "Unless you got something that says differently, you're going straight to jail. Do you have a witness or a camera recording?" I almost said no. Then I remembered the camera on my vest. I clip one on every shift because customers lie about what happens at their door, and it had been running since I clocked in that morning. My hands were shaking with fear, but I got it off and held the screen up so he could see. The dog coming off the porch, me with my arms full and not touching anything but the box. Then her own voice off to the side, clear as anything. "This is going to make me rich." She started shaking her head and opened her mouth, but nothing came out. The cop looked from the screen to her, and the cuffs he'd pulled for me went on her instead. "You're gonna want to call that lawyer." She wanted a check from Amazon, but the only one who got a fat check was me, thanks to her. I caught the head chef. I was test driving a Lambo for my daughter's birthday gift when 3 police cars cornered me at the red light. An officer pointed his pistol at my
Wait guys, let me just read the title. AI got me arrested. Not police officers use AI, really?
windshield. Shut the engine off and step out of the stolen vehicle. Hands where I can see them. I stepped out slowly with my palms open. "I'm test driving this car. Call the dealership. The paperwork's on the passenger seat." But they grabbed my wrists, and I felt cold metal handcuffs tighten around them. The officer chuckled. "Nice try," as if we haven't heard that one before. He started leading me towards the police car. "You have the right to remain silent." My legs trembled, and I knew I had to do something before I ended up in a jail cell, and my daughter grew up alone. "My back pocket! The salesman's card is in my back pocket, just look!" The officer sighed, fished it out, and turned it over in his fingers. Then he held it up for his partner and laughed. "A business card and fake paperwork on the seat. You boys come with a whole starter kit now." He shoved the card in an evidence bag and pushed my head down into the cruiser. But as he drove, I clenched my fists. "Hey Siri, call the Lamborghini dealership." The officers jumped up and scrambled to turn it off, but one of their iPhones was already ringing, and the woman immediately answered the phone. I cleared my throat. "This is Peter Kerr. When do you need the Lamborghini back?" With the license plate 123456. The woman sang, "Take your time, sir. There's no need to rush while you're test driving." The officers immediately pulled over and turned to each other. "Wait a damn minute." I read their laptop screen through the window while they rechecked the system report. "AI alert. Stolen vehicle detected." I sighed and realized an AI had falsely reported my car as stolen. The officer who cuffed me scratched his head. My bad son, but you're free to go." But that wasn't good enough for me, so I threatened to sue them unless they agreed to help with my daughter's surprise. They shook my hand and agreed. So that evening they escorted me while I pulled onto our driveway with the Lambo and a bow stuck to the car roof. I was test driving. I caught the head chef deliberately spitting into my son's food. I noticed my son's chicken was completely pink and raw, right as he was taking a
Bro, if Gordon Ramsay was reacting to this, he would literally smacked the screen.
Bite and immediately slapped his fork away. I didn't want him getting salmonella, so I asked the waitress to bring us a new one. But a minute later, the kitchen doors swung open. The head chef started marching right towards me, and I gripped my chair to brace myself. But then he walked by me and personally set a plate down for some man in a suit. He bowed like the man was royalty and immediately hurried back. I didn't think much and went to use the bathroom, but then I saw it. Through the kitchen window, the chef was holding my son's new plate of chicken. Nobody disrespects my cooking. He was red in the face. Let's see how that kid likes his chicken now. He pulled off his hat and leaned over, dribbling his forehead sweat all over my son's food. My chest instantly went cold, and I clenched my fist in anger, but I just pulled out my phone and calmly hit record. That's when he raised his head and spit into my son's plate. I watched his saliva
Do we have to watch this, bro?
streak into my son's meal and wanted to scream. He put it on the window to serve, and I was so shocked I nearly dropped my phone. I was still thinking what to do when I saw the waitress grab it and carry it out. I ran back right as my son put his fork in the chicken. "Don't touch that," I yelled, and my son froze with his fork in the air. "Why not, Dad?" I told him, "Just trust me." And that's when my eyes caught the man in the suit. He was writing in a notepad and photographing his plate, almost like he was judging something. I walked over and asked, "Who are you?" And he looked up from his notepad. "I'm the health and food quality inspector. I'm assessing the chef's performance tonight." Why? My jaw dropped, and when I looked back, the chef was glancing at us with a nervous look. Everything clicked, and I immediately set my phone down. I pressed play, and the inspector watched as the chef he was judging spit in my son's food. He immediately set his notepad down so hard the table shook and called the chef. The chef sprinted out, wiping his hands and sweat beading down his forehead. "Sir, whatever this man told you, I can explain." But then he saw himself spitting in my son's plate, and his face instantly deflated. The inspector clicked his pen. "Health department, you're being fired, effective immediately." The chef's knees buckled, and the inspector crossed his arms. "But before you leave, you're gonna remake that boy's meal correctly." The chef brought out my son's meal personally within 10 minutes, and this time, the chicken was perfect. My son took a bite, and we watched as he put down his hat and walked out. I caught the head chef. I got fired for letting a 12-year-old use the bathroom. Our school decided too many kids were wandering the halls, so they banned bathroom breaks during class. Anyone caught in the halls got detention. I told my principal it was insane. He looked me dead in the eyes. "Follow the policy, or I'll find someone who will." I watched kids sit through my art class in pain for weeks, squirming in their seats, eyes watering, too scared of detention to raise their hands. One afternoon, a girl in the front row stopped painting. Her face was red, and her legs were crossed so tight her knees were shaking. She looked at me through sobs and said, "I really need to pee." I looked at the clock. 30 minutes left until lunch. She wasn't going to make it. I walked her to the art storage room, grabbed an empty bucket, and stood outside the door. She came out 2 minutes later and didn't look at me. She just whispered, "Thank you," and sat back down. A few kids in class told their parents. When parents showed up at the school and a journalist started asking questions, the school panicked. My principal called me into his office and slid a termination letter across his desk. "This is on you. You should have followed the rule." I looked at him. She was about to wet herself in front of 30 kids. He shrugged. "That's not my problem anymore." That Friday, my students showed up to the school board meeting. Every single one of them. The girl from the storage room stood at the microphone. He was the only teacher who cared enough to help me. "Your rule is the problem, not him." Her mom stood up next. Then another parent. Then 6 more. The board sat there and didn't say a word. The bathroom ban was gone by Monday, but that wasn't enough. I hired a lawyer the next week. The school had to settle out of court. I can't say how much, but I pulled up to the school in a brand new Ferrari with that same bucket of piss on the passenger seat. I walked right up to the principal. "Since the bathrooms work now, I figured you could have this back." I drenched him before he... My son had just caught the baseball from the field when a woman grabbed his wrist. My son wanted that ball. "Hand it over." Billy ripped his arm free and hugged the ball against his grandpa's old glove while our section was still cheering. I stood up and got between them. He caught it. "It's his." She pointed back at a boy a few rows up who was nervously staring at his shoes. "My son's been waiting all season. Hand it over." My heart was pounding because she wasn't leaving without that ball, but I wasn't going to let her have it. I put my hands up. "Ma'am, please. My dad brought me here every summer. He promised he'd catch Billy a ball one day, and he passed in March before he could. Catching it with the glove was his last gift." My voice cracked in front of 40 strangers. She rolled her eyes. "Nice try, but he's 7. He doesn't even know what that thing's worth." She stepped closer with her palm out, and my mouth went dry because nobody around us was getting up to help. That's when her son came down the steps and grabbed her sleeve, his face bright red with embarrassment. "Mom, stop. I don't even want it. You're just gonna sell it like you sold the jersey that I got at the football game." My eyes widened because she wasn't fighting fighting for her kid. She was just fighting to have an eBay listing. She slapped his hand away without looking at him. He's lying to be nice. He's wanted the ball all week. I was about to drag my son away when suddenly I looked up and saw that all of us were on the jumbotron.
She's good.
The audience had just
She's absolutely good. I'm sorry for pausing.
watched the whole thing unfold. I waved over the usher who was staring at us, and he ran over to walk her out. The boos rolled
Public humiliation and getting kicked out of the baseball game.
down from the upper deck as he walked her up the steps. At the top, she yanked her arm free and lifted her chin, then stumbled on the last step and caught the railing while 3 rows burst out laughing. When the inning ended, a player jogged to the netting and waved Billy down. I told him what the glove meant, and he signed the ball right through the gap to Billy, caught with Grandpa's glove. Her son whispered, "I never wanted it. You deserved it." She tried to take a ball off a 7-year-old to flip it online, and instead, the whole stadium watched it become the one ball money can't buy.
W. Alright guys, today that's the end of the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel, and that helps me out a lot. Bye.